Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Last tutorial, we explained an introduction about Unity. And today, inshallah, we will start working on the programming or the development part in Unity. I explained to you last time what does start and update means. Uh, Start means that the code inside it will be executed for one time. Update will keep repeated executing the code inside it. That's in general, and these here usually we write the libraries that we might need to make the compiler understand the code we write here. And also, I said before, the C# is a case-sensitive language. That means if we make any mistakes in capital letters and small letters, then the code might not be executed correctly. So we need to be aware of that. We need to focus on the when we need to write the code in caps or smalls or the letters. For example, in variables, we can write anything we want, but we need to stick with what we wrote before. We will explain more, but for now, let us try something. One of the basic things that I'm going to start with is the transform, change the object position. One of the simple codes usually that we can use, how to change the object position or rotation or scale. So here I'm going to write transform. Once I start writing, it will give me here suggestions. I can find it here, for example, transform dot rotate. Let me change the rotation. And here, for example, 0, 0, 0. And I close the bracket and semicolon. If I want to change the rotation, for example, in y-axis, or let me change it in z-axis, I'm going to make it a 15. Here I wrote this text inside this code inside the start. That means this code will be executed for one time. Also, focus on the at the end of the methods or codes usually. Most of the times, especially when we wrote the orders, it must be end with semicolon. Anything missing, for example, the bracket, the semicolon, the rotate, and if it in small, the code will not work and will give you an error. I think will be better. I need to click at save, and then I can go back to Unity. I'm going to apply to the raw image. In order to for the script to be executed, I need to drag it inside on one of the game objects I have. If the script is not linked to any of the game objects we have inside the scene, that means the script will not be executed. So here I need to drag it. I can drag it here, or I can drag it over from on here. Let me drag it here. You can see the script. Now let me click on play. Take a look at the rotation here. Before it was 0, now it is 15, but because of it is on the start, once I click here, it will change the rotation immediately. So usually we do not see it because the execution is very fast. But that's how to rotate an object. Here I put it in start. Let us copy it and paste it here. And here I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to convert it as a comment by using the two slashes. Comment means usually we use the comments to write, to clarify, to explain the code. For example, if we work as a team, so the comments we use to explain or to disable a part of the code. Comment means the text in green means that this code will not be executed. After the comment, you can write anything you want. It will not be executed. You don't need to follow the rules in coding after inside comments because, as I said, this code will not be executed. Now I change this to comment and I paste it here inside the update. And here the rotation is going to repeat, but I'm going to reduce the amount of rotation because it will keep rotating. I'm going to click on save and then play. And here the ball will keep rotating or the object will keep rotating. Of course, from here, I can change the axis. For example, I can put this one and this 0. Or this is in y-axis. I can rotate it also in x-axis or in two axes or three axes together. I can do that based on the numbers I put here between the commas. This is for the rotate. I'm going to keep it, but for now, I'm going to convert it also as to a comment. If I want to use it again, I just can delete the comment, the two slashes. But for here, I'm going to use the transform also, but on what? Dot translate. And by the way, these are not the only ways to move or to change the object position or rotation. We can use something else. We will explain later. But these are the basic way. Also here, I can add two round brackets and 0, comma 0, comma 0. And here also I can move the object, for example, in x-axis 1. I can click on save. Let me test. For test, I click at the play here. If I want to stop the test, I click at the pause or the stop appear here. The object will keep moving in x-axis because the code now inside the update. And you can try the translate inside the star. You can try the changing these zeros into numbers. You can do that by yourself. But for now, I'm not going to spend time on just changing the values and play the game again. Let me change the scale, transform dot local scale equal. Scale is not like the rotate and translate. With the scale, we need to use the traditional way. For the traditional way, we create something called new vector 3 with by using the vector 3 usually we call the three transformation features or parameters. Usually we change the position, the rotation, the scale. Here, because I specify the local scale, then the parameter will be specified the scale. And here I can create two round brackets or parentheses, and between them, as always, zeros for now. And here, by using this, I can change the scale. As I said, I can use the vector not only for the scale, I can use the vector, for example, transform dot position or rotation, and then a new, not only the scale. But for the rotation and scale, because there is a simple way to do that, a simpler way to do that, so I did it on a simple way, especially because we are still on the beginning. Now I'm going to change the scale, for example, here 10 in y-axis and in z-axis, in x-axis to 10 by 10. And then I'm not going to change the z-axis because I'm working with 2D, there's no depth. So no need to change the z-axis for a scale. Let me click on play now. You can see that the scale is not keep increasing because it is inside, like inside a function. So it will not keep increasing because it's not directly. Here I created a new vector. If I want to increase the make the scale as an animation keep increasing or keep decreasing, I need to define a variable. What does variable means? Variables in programming in general, like it's is like a container or a box we use to store one data or one information at the time for the variables. If, for example, if I want to store a number, I need to define a variable, and that variable type, that type of variable, it's is a number. I need to specify the type of the variable, and then I can put a value inside that variable. It's like math, like what we do in mathematical equations, x plus y plus z equal something. It's like that. But here in programming variable, it doesn't need to contain or only contain numbers. It could contain, for example, text or any type of information like images. Here in Unity, a variable could be we can define a variable for a game object, a variable for text, and we are going to try. We will try that very soon. We can define a variable for collagen, among of many other things. This is in brief what does a variable means, and about the functions like the void start or function. As I said, it's a place that contain a few instructions or orders we put. Void functions do not return, but the regular function usually it should return a value. But with void, it means that this function will not return a value. It's just going to execute the order inside it. So here I'm going to define a variable, and the type of variable will be number. So I'm going to write int, short for integer, for example, x, and semicolon. Here I defined the variable. If I click on save, here behind the script, nothing is going to appear. But because this variable now is a private, considered as a private variable, and that variable could be seen only inside this script. If I want to show it inside Unity, I can write public integer int x. If I hit on save, then the variable is going to appear here. I'm going to make it the initial value 1. I can add an initial value. And here, instead of these numbers, I'm going to use the variable I have, but with plus plus. If you try the coding before, you will understand what does plus plus means. Plus plus means increasing one to the original value. It's like x equal x plus one or x plus one. When it keep repeating, then the number it will keep increasing. For example, here we have the original value 1. For the first time, the code will be executed. X plus plus means this the value here will be x plus plus. Instead of 1, it will be 2. But I'm not going to repeat the x plus plus here, because if I keep it like this, then the here it will be 2, here will be 3, and here will be 4. And for the z-axis, I'm going to keep it 0, because I want to for the x-axis and y-axis to be the same. So here x plus plus, for example, it will be, I'm going to keep it 0 because I wanted to start with 1. Here x plus plus will be 1, and here because x, I don't want to increase the number here, it will be also 1, because the new value will be stored at the inside the variable. The variable cannot contain more than one data, so the new value will replace the old value. Let me click on Save Now. Of course, I have also x minus minus. It will decrease the number by 1. But here I want to increase. I want to change the scale. And as you see, and that's how we change the scale. As I said, these are basic codes we use to animate or to update or to change the object status in Unity, to change the rotation, the position, and the scale. Okay, I have the script now linked to this game object. If this script is not linked to this game object, then this script will not work. Because here I haven't specified the game object that I want this code to be executed on. I'm going to make them as a comment, and I'm going to delete the two slashes for the transform.rotate, because I want it to be executed. And as I said, this code will work only on the object linked with. For example, this ball will not work with this game object. Okay. If I want to use the same script, and that script, inside that script, I can call this ball, for example, and rotate it. And I can call another ball, another image, another file, and to move it to left or to right or up or down. How can I do that? I can do that by defining a variables and link the objects here to the variables, and here I can use these codes on the variables I have. Let us try it. First of all, I'm going to delete the code. I don't want to link the code to one of the objects. On these three dots and remove component, I'm going to game object and create an empty game object. SC for scripting. It's an empty game object. We use it to link, we can use it to link a script to it. Because remember, as I said before, if the script are not linked to a game object inside the scene, then the script will not be executed. Okay, I'm going to create two variables to link the two images I have here to. So here, I'm going to write public game object, and focus the G and O are capital. For example, Paul 1, semicolon, and here public game object for Paul 2, because as I said, I have two objects I want to connect with the script. And focus here without public, the variable will not appear here. So I need to add public to be able to connect the objects to the code. I need to click on save, and then here I have them. These are empty now. I can click here to link one of the objects to, or I can drag from here. Let me select, click and hold the mouse key and drag, for example, here, the first one and the second one. I'm going to connect it to the second variable, ball2. So here, if I want to do any of these things, I need to call the game object or a variable that I have to be able to apply the code on. So here, before transform, I need to add, for example, Paul 1 dot transform. So the name of the variable dot, and then I can continue with the code. Here, the name of the variable, I can write anything I want, but I need to use it the same. So here, the first one, the variable will be rotated, and the second one, for example, Paul 2 will be translate, will be moved in x-axis. So that's how I can connect with one script, make a certain modifications or instructions or order on more than one object inside the scene. Let me save, and remember now the code is linked to an empty game object. These do not have the script. Now let me click on play. And as you see, one moving and one rotating. Okay, that's how we can define a variable as a number or as a game object. And during the tutorials, the future tutorials, we'll learn how to define an extra variables. And also that's how we write an order or an instruction inside the start, as I explained, or inside the update. And also we learn how to rotate the object by an object by using the code, how to move or change the position, how to create an animation for these things, also how to change the scale by using a new vector. That's it for today, and see you next tutorial, inshallah.